Already we're speaking Lawrence Gowan of Styx is going to be at the Linda Ronstadt Music Hall on January 7th. Cannot wait to see the band. Lawrence, thank you for spending time with us here in Tucson via Zoom.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, Larry, and we're very much looking forward to the 7th of January and a brand new year in Linda Ronstadt's Music Hall. What a great name.
That is. It's Tucson. Have you ever had the chance to meet her?
I have not, unfortunately. I watch a lot of YouTube clips of her doing interviews or basically, looking back on her career and wow, what a singer. I mean, God, it's hard to find. I don't think there's any modern day equivalent to her. She's just got such a unique and beautiful style. And I remember the first song I really noticed by her was Different Drum, You and I, yeah. The Mike Nesmith song, and just her voice just captivated me. She's always sounded so tremendous.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure that you guys are able to play her. They renamed the hall.
100%. It's so wonderful also to play in a music hall that's named after a musician instead of a gas station or something. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. It might be
what can the fans expect on January 7th?
Well, they can expect a Styx epic extravaganza of rock. That's what they can expect, because that's what we deliver. It's, we're going to obviously play the songs, most of the songs people know. There's never a Styx show where we're not playing Renegade and Come Sail Away and Blue Collar Man and Grand Illusion and Lady and, there's Fooling Yourself. Those songs are in every show. We will augment it probably with one or maybe two from our latest album, Circling From Above. And we do that in a very kind of deft way in that they're usually segues between songs that connect really well to them, rather than stopping the show down to say, would you mind if we play something new? When you have a band with a legacy like this, for over half a century, it's important to kind of, first of all, acknowledge that people are there to see the history of the band unfold before their eyes and ears. But to work a new piece of music in there, it really has to kind of meet the bar, or has to be relevant to that show. And so we've been doing a couple of songs now from Circling From Above that fit the bill really well. And the record itself is recorded like the records were made in the 70s, so they don't sound. It doesn't suddenly sound like we're doing something, new and modern. It really ties in well with the overall menu.
So speaking of it came out this past July.
Yeah,
and I've talked to a lot of musicians over the past few years, and with the advent of Spotify and Pandora, and how streaming has kind of taken over, and basically the economy of the music industry has changed drastically.
Yeah,
a lot of artists don't even feel like they want to put out albums. What inspires Styx to continue to not just songs? You guys are putting a whole lot of albums.
Yeah, a number of things. First of all, we, every band have their own create their own little mini religion as to what rules they're going to follow. For us, part of the continuation of the band is endlessly kind of excavating how far can this go, and the only way to really explore that is by coming up with new things. And when we have something new that we think is relevant and feels like it ties seamlessly with the band's legacy, we feel compelled to put it out. That plus the fact that we still champion the album as an art form in and of itself, that although it has been extremely challenged, let's put it that way, by the new reality of how technology has us ingest our music, it's still an extremely relevant form of entertainment that once people embrace it, it's hard to take them away from it. And quite honestly, it's now become a great option to listen to an album for 40 minutes, get into what an artist or a band, what they really are, a larger picture of what they're about, and not just a 15-second blast of a single, and And that really is how these bands of the progressive rock era, and Styx are one of them, the classic rock era, if you want to call it that. That's how they emerged, is under that art form. They may have had hit singles, but ultimately the album was the truest and most overall, expanded statement of what the band's mission, if you want to call it that, is. And so, with all of that, and just our excitement at seeing new artwork and new album and Styx written on the front of a cover, you put all that together, and that compels us to want to keep doing it.
Well, I've also noticed the younger generation at this point now is actually rediscovering vinyl.
That's right, and that's exactly my point, Larry. Is that once they've discovered it, it becomes part of their lives, and if the numbers aren't in the millions, that's not what's important here. I think in some ways it's forced the music business industry, that part of it, is more like what it was, I think, possibly in the 40s or the 1950s, before it became a gigantic industry, where people bought records because that's how they were entertained. They were entertained, and they felt their life enriched by that. And so often when these devices, which are wonderful in their own ways, we all know, they don't provide us with, I don't think, the same kind of soul connection that you'd get from listening to a full album, reading a book, seeing a great movie, something that takes a little more time for the human mind to absorb and to connect to in a more meaningful way.
But for instance, I still have a memory of buying Cornerstone.
There you go.
Opening it up, the album with the little foldable sleeves and everything, and the artwork, and reading the liner notes, listening to the album.
Yes. Yep. That tactile experience is completely lost in this world because everything's virtual, right? But we're still human beings that live in this real world who like that, to get our hands on things and to kind of take our time to really dive into something. Look, it's got to be worthy of your time, and so we don't put a record out until we feel that it's reached the consensus among the band that this is worthy. We don't just put it out for the hell of it. It's and Circling from Above, much like Crash of the Crown, much like The Mission. These are records that we feel are really necessary to validate the continuation of Styx.
And the album does pretty well in the current state of how the music industry works.
Yeah.
And it's got pretty good, people seem to like it.
Well, I'd go further than that. They seem to love it. They're very effusive. This is the one thing we love about this, is you get instant feedback from the people out there that really matter, not just some critic that's trying to sound cool. Which we're all guilty of, but instead you're hearing from the actual people who come to the concerts, who know all of the history of the band, so I'm sorry for all these notifications. We're playing tonight here in Tulsa.
No worries. I kept thinking it was my phone.
No, it's me. I keep dinging. Anyway, so. Where were we? Yes. They give you this instant kind of appraisal of how they feel about it, and quite often you'll see, after a month or so, it's like, I've had the record for a month now, and I think this is one of the top 5 Styx records of all times. You'll start to get those kinds of an impression, and then you get the opposite as well. As on the internet, you might get someone that probably hasn't listened to it but have prejudged it, and their comments are every bit as relevant.
Well, the trolls are everywhere. So,
down!
So, I was reading a couple years ago. I haven't seen you guys in years. I'm looking forward to January 7th show. But I got to ask you this. What's it like now being in a band with your brother?
Oh, it's horrible. It's... It's just think of this. It's fantastic. Okay, because he completely, he has been such a seamless. He's integrated into Styx so seamlessly. Styx was in our house, growing up, and for him a little longer because I was out of the house by the time the late '70s came with starting my own career, but he. he absorbed it so quickly. He came into the band. Chuck immediately embraced Chuck Panazzo, the way that Terry was approaching the songs, very authentically, much like almost identical to what the original records are. Adding his voice in there makes it so easy. When you got the brother thing, that all works. There's the ever-present, obvious pitfalls of brothers in bands, as we know. You just look up the history of it, everything from the Everly Brothers to the Bee Gees. I mean, it's a difficult thing in any kind of show business to mix that in with a family member. But we happen to be a little older now, and we've done most of our fighting. He's stronger than I am now. I used to be able to put him down really easily. So I'm more diplomatic in the way that I approach any disagreements we might have along the way. But we haven't had any in Styx, funny enough, because it's just too much. It's too much damn fun being in this band, and the audiences that come to the shows. We were on a euphoric high every single night, and kind of still, even though I've been in the band now I'm going into my 27th year here. It hasn't worn thin on me at all, just how much fun we have.
One thing about Styx is you guys, you're road warriors. I look at the website and you're playing somewhere all the time.
Yeah.
What's that like, as you get older and families and the whole thing? I mean, obviously you gotta love it.
Well, we do. We do love it. It is the other, let's put it this way, it's kind of the other half of our lives. Without this, the domestic side, if you want to call it that, wouldn't flourish to the extent it does. And I don't just mean in a financial sense at all. I mean in the fact that when you love what you do in life, as you know, it just makes life better, and it makes it better for the peripheral people who are in your life, the others that are in your life, because I like being around happy people, and nothing makes us happier than ending the day with a few thousand people in front of us on their feet with big smiles on their faces. And that's just a very energizing and wonderful way for us to connect to the humanity of the planet. And then that has a chance to spill over into our home life. But you have to be with people who understand that and have are able to ride along with it. And it can be difficult for those that aren't doing that. So it's best if you're with people that have developed outside interests that keep them occupied.
Did the pandemic kind of make you and other artists like yourself appreciate being on the road? Because there was a couple years that you couldn't tour at all.
Larry, it did both. Funny enough, it made me first of all appreciate that being at home, etc., was a good hiatus in some ways, but it also introduced us to what we're doing right now. I didn't know what a Zoom call was on March 1st of 2020, but by March 30th of 2020, I was very intimately appraised of what they do. And connecting with people, this is where I'm going to be very positive about technology, is I was able to make just as, funny enough, almost just as profound connections musically, because I would play songs every week, songs from my own albums or something that I'd never done before, or on stage, and connected with people that way, and was able to kind of converse with people without a quick little thanks or something like that. And I found ways of substituting this for what we get live. Having said that, after the 16 months, I believe that it lasted, the moment we walked on stage, right, and the true humanity burst before our eyes. It happened, I think it was the 21st of June was our first show. I do believe it could have been the 16th of 2021. That was an overwhelming moment of the re-embrace of actual humanity, So in a way, it raised the appreciation of what it is to play in a live concert and have people react and exchange the energy that only music can evoke. So I think it was, I hate to say it because I know for a lot of people it was the most tragic time of their lives, but for some musicians, and for us anyway, we stayed very connected in novel ways that that made us appreciate both that time and what followed.
So besides the show and the tour that you have in 2026, that we hear on the 7th of January, that's at Music Hall. What are you doing? Do you have any side projects? We talked about Gowan for a little bit. What else is going on with you?
Well, yeah, this year, I mean, leading up to 2026, we played, I think, 100 Styx shows, and I did 25 solo shows. I still have a very strong career in Canada where my records were released. I just played Massey Hall, which is kind of like our Carnegie Hall, and that's the second time I've sold it out solo in 2 years. And we're going to play there again next year. I play all throughout, right across the country. So that really occupies a lot of the time when I'm away from Styx. And, you know, we're good travelers. I do whatever I can to keep myself in shape, you know, because that's become part of the equation to keep doing this, is that you have to kind of fight nature, or, you know, whoever it is, if it's just regular sickness or if it's actually even the Grim Reaper going, hey, come here. So you have to kind of, I have to address that every day, and luckily everybody else in Styx, we do that because we want to live forever. And so, yeah, that occupies my time. That and riding my bicycle.
All right. Well, Lawrence, thank you so much for spending some time.
Always a pleasure to chat with you, Larry. Really is. Thank you.
Absolutely.